9 a.m., so I'd be watching first game with my breakfast. Second game would end, and I still had some of my day left. I mean, I still had Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening to do stuff. You know, today, these days, when the NFL's on, I get up, I watch, and then it's Sunday night. And
yeah.
All right, we're into PV and Ben Friedman. Looks like they're resolving their mulligans.
Round 9 of 9 on day 1.
Looks like Ben Friedman is shipping it. Again, we talked a little bit when you walked away. I talked a little bit to Conley about the mulligan thing, and he said he looked at the hand and he asked himself, what would Conley of a year and a half ago done? And I'm going to do the opposite.
That's interesting.
So he shipped it.
See, that's the element of being fearless. Mm-hmm. The ability to not be demeaned by your own past mistakes, right, and not to be downtrodden by your own previous inabilities, but simply to be better than you used to be.
Looks like Friedman might be going to 5.
He's had a pretty terrific day at the office. Can't say I know much about Ben.
He's been obviously near the top all day.
Mm-hmm. 2 buys came in with, so had to play 1 to be in with a chance of playing Paolo.
You're right.
And then spent 5 rounds avoiding, and then
right
gets him in the last round. I have to say, I think the multi-flagged Channel 5 shirts are among the best Magic shirts ever printed. The fact, to all my Belgian friends, please don't take offense at this. The fact they even went to the level of printing Belgium, that's great. That's going the extra mile.
Yep.
Yeah, Friedman, as you say, is just not liking anything.
Ready for you. Constructing Legacy number 3.
So how does it affect the game? How do you think it impacts the game if first mulligan is free? You look at the first 7. Do you think it needlessly?
It makes an awful lot of difference. When okay, modern's my thing right now.
Right.
That I'm concentrating on. But one word, ley line.
Right. Oh yeah.
I mean, you just suddenly go, well, it turns out, Mr. Redet, that I'm playing against, I have full ley line of sanctity in my board.
Right.
What are the chances of me finding it in my opening hand? Well, it's less than 50%. What are my chances of me not finding it twice?
Right.
Very, very little. Utterly changes things. Now, we happen to have chosen an example of a very powerful format that uses something that happens before the game even starts.
Right.
So it's very anecdotal. But nonetheless, anything that improves consistency is something that pros obviously love. That's why cycling is the most, arguably the most beloved keyword of all time in the game. And clearly, if you get to mulligan for free, you just increase consistency. And no one wants to see this where, you're mulligan to 5 and going, well, if I have a land, I have to keep it, pretty much. Which is where we are away. That's an interesting one.
Well, it probably needlessly tilts things toward combo decks.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it gives them a significant advantage.
Paolo is kind of off to the races in optimal fashion with Delver into Insectile Aberration. Opposite a 2-1 Elite Vanguard for Ben Friedman. So it's possible that Ben is actually playing, because we mentioned that Elite Vanguard is in Justin Vizara's white-blue aggro. And we haven't seen a lot of Elite Vanguard, so maybe he's playing something similar to that. We'll see whether it is more blue-white or white-blue. Though we may not get much chance to see here in Game 1.
Yes.
Friedman will attack with his 2-1 and then pass. At least he's got to 2 lands, so not horrific. And the deck lists have duly arrived.
Crack staff. Here at GG's Live, we have the crackest of crack staffs.
And it is very definitely lots of white. Champions of the Parish, Doom Travelers, 3 Elite Vanguard. You've got the Grand Abolishers. You've got a couple of Leonin Relic Warders. Honor of the Pure.
Fiend Hunter.
Yeah, that's a card I love. I just love those effects. I always have. I have something and you don't.
Right.
But I like them, perversely, I like them more than the straight up, I have something and I've killed something of yours. You know, so like Phantom Carvu,
right.
Obviously an incredibly powerful card.
Right.
But I don't love it in the way I love a Fiend Hunter. Or a Leonin Relic.
Some tokens have made an appearance over there for PV. Dropping Friedman to 9.
Friedman will continue to attack. Because what else is he doing? Against an army of 5 flyers, which Paolo is going to turn sideways. Friedman 4. Paolo makes another Delver.
Which means he doesn't have Counterspell in his hand.
And is Friedman about to pack it in? Obviously he has plenty of cards now, but no time.
Also players, you are in the Innistrad Sealed Round 3 pairings.
Oblivion Ring? Let's say no. Let's say game. So there you have it, 1-0 to Paolo Vida DAMO Da Rosa in double quick time.
Well, an aggressive deck against a deck that has a slow start.
As soon as it stumbles, that's it.
Which is, I mean, there's a value to playing aggressive decks because mulligans are going to happen.
Yep.
And if you're playing when the other guy isn't quite, seems pretty good for you. I also think there's a value. There's a meta tournament value to playing aggressive decks, in that you're not playing the full hour every time. You know, especially an old style control deck where you were going to time in every round.
I think one of the best examples of that, although it resulted in a win, Pro Tour Valencia 2007, Remy Fortier, 17 at the time. That man was obliterated by the end of that tournament because he was playing counterbalance and top, and he was just there into extra turns round after round, and his idea of a quick game was a 2-0 win in 45 minutes.
Right.
And he was just destroyed after that tournament.
Yeah, I think you have to balance. You have to manage players that don't manage the tournament aspect are asking themselves for trouble. Way back in the early days on Star City, I wrote an article about taking care of yourself in a tournament.
Yep.
You know, staying hydrated, getting sufficient amount of food, getting mental breaks, because Magic is a difficult game. It's a mental game. Your brain is processing a lot of data all the time when you're playing, and you're tired.
It's also an extremely not restful thing when you aren't playing. The environment is unbelievably... It's not precisely noisy, but there is stuff everywhere.
Right.
And it's stuff that you as a Magic player are fundamentally interested in.
Right.
Because it's Magic cards everywhere, and situations and board states and friends and last round and here's Ian and what's that deck doing and who might I play next round and all that stuff. And one of the biggest things that Brad Nelson attributed his success to was a willingness to shut everything else away than cards in my hand, cards in the graveyards, this turn, this game, this match. And he just reduced everything, almost like, and I'm not making a reference here without due thought. Almost where someone is very seriously ill, and certainly that's something I've experienced multiple times in my life, where your focus draws down.
Yep.
Not to 6 months or next year's holiday, to the next 5 minutes.
Right.
And the best Magic players do that. The future will take care of itself, and it's right now.
Right.
And
Yep.
right now, the mulligan is gone for Ben Friedman, and now He has to look at a sideboard that contains 3 Mortarpod, 2 Mana Leak, 3 Timely Reinforcements, a couple of Dismember, Singleton Sword of War and Peace, Oblivion Ring, and Gideon Jura. As we see, someone who can afford the double white from Gideon, and a couple of Revoke Existence. So that's his board. On the other side, what has Paolo got to work with?
He's got a couple of Dissipates and extra Timely Reinforcements. The Divine Offering we saw, we talked about earlier. A couple of Oblivion Rings, extra Phantasmal Images, 1 Mental Misstep, a Negate, a Vapor Snag, and a couple of Dismembers.
So pretty much, the solid role players of what you'd expect in board. Nothing too quirky. And again, Paolo, someone who plays very well at the back end of formats when he can justify playing, if you will, the best deck and not go hunting for a new best deck. But then just, this is winning. I'll probably play that better than most people. Thanks. That's what he did with Fairies multiple times. Just went, still the best deck. Probably still the best player of the best deck. Let's play that then. And that's what you see here.
Walmsley, your sealed event has started without you. Billy Walmsley, please come find your seat.
Yeah, one of the things I think was very good for the players at the Pro Tour was the Pro Tour Lounge, not in the sense that there was the pool table and the snacks and the whatever, but a place to go and sit and shut out all the pomp and circumstance of the Pro Tour. And I mean, there's more than just a Magic tournament going here. There's an event. There are dealers. There are public events. There are friends, like you said, friends and other matches, and being able to play and then go shut it out for a little while and come back to it probably puts people in a much better mental state than wandering the hall in their...
Because when you're not playing essentially, I think the word we're looking for is convention.
Right.
It's a games convention,
right?
And we know what frantic things they are.
Right. Looks like PB's going to 6.
He'll be on the draw, presumably, in this game, too. See whether Ben can get as far as Hero of Bladehold, or whether he maybe even just goes, I don't think I can really get that far reliably.
What's Paolo's face telling us? Got a hand he's not particularly happy with, but he's going to keep anyway.
So we're away with Friedman. Paolo will draw. We'll go Gataxian Probe. Looks like an Oblivion Ring in there somewhere. Lenin Relic Board, I can't quite see.
We're waiting for you for pod number 20. Diego Zeragiosa, please report to side events.
So Paolo notes it all down and will then run out of Delver.
It's the first turn he play once every game.
Ben, who clearly doesn't know what to do with all the cards he's been given in the second game, unlike the first.
Delver successfully flipped.
Honda.
Once again, if you're watching at home and you play cards like Ponder regularly, you want to keep the cards that you're looking at and your hand quite separate from each other, so that there's no confusion about which actually belong where.
So that Ponder finally resolves. Paolo lays an island and passes. Freeman wastes no time sending his Relic Order in, and that's going to meet Vapor Snag from the Brazilian.
Insect gets O. The Aberration gets O-Ring. Paolo obviously knew that was coming.
Cross that off the list.
Friedman asks for a quick check of Paolo's graveyard.
Not unreasonably, he knows that the Rune Chanter's Pike is around. Just, again, adds another aspect. Graveyard has been so important in recent times.
Yes. There's the Honor of the Pure.
And Friedman just offering up all the time. It's like, can I have this? Can I have this? Please, may I? And yes, you may.
Yes, you may.
So this time, Friedman is in good shape. Now I'd like this, please.
Yes.
Counter. And in we go. And Paolo's life total is about to change pretty significantly, pretty quickly. Unless he does something quite soon. And right here, both the argument for having Day of Judgment available,
Yes.
but also look at the mana and say, well, where's the second white source for that?
Right.
Exactly both sides of the Day of Judgment argument, as you look at a board state that really needs to be swept. Going to see a Vapor Snag. Goes a little bit of the way towards that plan. Paolo untaps with 3 lands.
Looks like he's missed 1 land drop. Looks like he's missed another. Yep.
So it looks like lands are going to be an issue in both games 1 and 2. Was fatal in game 1 for Friedman. Whether it will be for Paolo is yet to be determined.
There's the Geist. Friedman gets into the red zone. Paolo accepts it. And his 2 damage that goes with it.
And Ben's going to go, you know how you're not allowed to play 2 of them?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to play the second one for you.
Paolo untapping and drawing very quickly. I think he can sense the inevitability about the game that we're in.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder whether he's brought in timely reinforcements out of the board. He's got a couple. Because that would not be awful at this point at all. If he can find those. And knowing that he's on the draw, arguably that's a place where he might have timely reinforcements brought in. I don't know whether he has. We haven't seen any. So Freeman with all the board position. So the deciding round of day 1, one of these players will go to bed undefeated at 9-0, knowing that possibly as little as 3 more wins might see them into the top 8.
Paolo really going into the tank on the...
Oh, yeah, and then just turn the sleeves around the right way. Paolo will look and very quickly send them away in the hopes of something different. Offers up to Ben.
Again, if you're in a situation where you have to be blocking with your delvers. He survives a hit this turn. But
TCG player 1K topic members and parents are going up.
That's some of the fastest attacking I think I've seen for a while. He's barely untapped.
And he's thrown him into the red zone.
It's all sideways.
Guys are anxious about getting in there.
This is why we like words like crisp.
Crisp. That's what you call potato chips, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
we don't call them chips. Chips are fries. French
right.
fries.
Which
chips.
were invented in Belgium. Very good.
There we go. I know quite a bit about my own food groups. It's just I don't have many food groups.
Right.
Bread and cheese, mostly.
Yeah. So, looks like that Delver is whipped up now.
Sword of War and Peace. Costing 5, as Charles Gidney put it.
Yes.
Kicker cost 2. It actually does something.
Yeah, right.
3.
Yeah.
Kicker 2 does something. So that has slowed Ben by a good 3 or 4 seconds in determining his attacks.
Registration for public events is closed for the evening. If you are interested in doing a draft, it's standard in box.
But the beats keep on coming.
Please come to the public event stage at this time.
Paolo up to 5 mana. Has a sword active. He's down to 4.
He has to swing, right?
I mean, the board is horrendous on the other side. Is there a way out? If there is, we're about to see it.
If you would, please report to the parents area.
Closing in on 9 p.m. here on the east coast of America. 6 p.m. in California, the far side. Already into Sunday in places like Japan.
Oh, even in your
nine hours. Yeah, we're 5 hours ahead, so we're 2 a.m. on Sunday.
Which is still kind of Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah. Bedtime.
But you're getting... Okay, let's...
Ben's like, okay, what are you doing? I always like that little hand gesture. No, what? You know, is that... Yeah? Paolo passes. Keeps his man back. Friedman asking all the questions and just waiting to find out. There you see him. Forward row.
Paolo is playing 2 pikes. I assume they're still in his deck. And that would be a huge swing in this game.
Yes. Paolo draws 3 cards. 5 mana. Straight up. Probe, look at your no hand. Draw a card. Just plain old cycle. Players starting to head out into the Florida nightlife. I imagine international drive's quite fun on a Saturday night.
If by fun you mean busy.
Yeah.
No, I don't think
lots of people out hoping to have an entertaining time.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's a lot of foot traffic, though. I think it's all into the various restaurants and...
Sure. Yes, this is not 6th Street in Austin.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
is certainly true.
Paolo really in the tank here.
So he's going to send token in. Equip across.
I think his hand is 3 cards, yep.
Yep.
He's gaining those 3, knocking Ben down to 11.
Ben 1 card. Is he just not quite going to get there? We talked earlier about Charles Gindy way back at the start of the day, finding a way to win from a difficult situation.
Yep.
When Paolo's at 4 a couple of turns ago, you or I are possibly thinking, wow, it's a good job I won game 1.
Right.
And he's thinking, wow, it's a good job I won game 1 because that means I'm going to win 2-0.
Right. Right. If he gets up ahead of steam with this sword untapped.
Sounds like David Sharfman did not make his winning in with Pure Steel Paladin.
We'll have to.
Paolo at 2. He attacks. Try and get some life back. Equip the other way. 7-6. Oh.
Another.
Friedman
it's
draws.
like runner of land for Friedman.
Oh boy. Not like he's running that many. 23. He runs his hand through his hair and
Yep. Well, his guys can't block anyway.
And Freeman passes the turn, and that is where you can hear the clunk of momentum truly head the Brazilian's way. You have to nail the coffin shut.
Yep.
And that's not a criticism of Ben Freeman in any way.
No, his play has been
crisp.
It's crisp. But yeah, the drawing the 3 lands in a row. It's problematic. Paolo going to move the sword.
So that is going to be Dismember from Ben. Pass the turn. Ben draws. When the apathetic card draw flops back onto the table, it's a real masterpiece sandbagging something awesome in that situation. I do not think that is Ben Friedman this turn. He is looking at the board and wondering, weren't you dead 5 turns ago?
Yes.
Weren't we starting game 3 5 turns ago? Wasn't I going to be 9-0 5 turns ago? Yeah, and no.
That's why you always keep going. We talked about it with Gindy in round 1. We're seeing it here in round 9 with Paolo. Great player.
Never give up.
Never surrender.
High five.
High five. We just got our nerd on pretty good, Rich Agon.
It's hard to beat Galaxy Quest. Friedman says, Honor of the Pure, shakes the hand. Paolo beats DAMO Da Rosa. Good job.
So, great match. Great match to start the day. Great match to end the day. World-class players showing exactly how world-class players win Magic games.
Indeed. And right at the top, even before we had our first pairing of the day in round 3,